Instead of us running, fighting vets, fighting Johannesburg, University of Johannesburg. Clinics that run 24 hours with doctors, and those doctors, when they sign the contract, they must only dedicate themselves to those clinics. They must not have surgery somewhere where they're going to leave patients, because now they have to go run their own surgeries. And these clinics fully equipped with what do you call this, maternity wards, emergency theaters or ERs. We also have what do you call this, hangars for ambulances every 1 kilometer, so that no ambulance takes forever to get to an emergency. Police stations, we go and we talk about the immediate response by creating community forums that are going to be trained thoroughly. And their jobs is to preserve the safety of their communities all over Soweto. Looking out for corrupt police officials and corruption, looking out of invaders that come from other countries to plant themselves in our communities, and building businesses that take business from us. That is what we need to be doing, guys. This is the AfriForum concept I'm talking about. So that's what we need to do. Those loose rocks, stones, abandoned structures, we could build, what do you call this, the headquarters. And then once we've built all these important things, then we go to recreational activities, build recreational centers, so that the children, instead of hanging in street corners and influencing themselves into doing bad things to their own communities, they'll be busy either doing music, dance, or something that is going to keep them busy and become productive members of society. Build sporting facilities and all of that stuff, like soccer fields, rugby fields, cricket pitches, you name them, swimming pools, so that you can start molding champions, African champions and Olympic champions. Those are the things that we're supposed to be thinking about. And then once we are done with that, then we start building things that are going to bring us business. That's going to make us all to have a car in the garage, 2 chickens in the fridge, and hen and a cock in the back yard to also, what do you call this, bear eggs and chicks, and then they become chickens, so that we do not depend too much on what do you call this, putting together grocery lists. I know I just quoted an American dream here, but hey, why not adopt that too? Can you imagine the crime rate in our communities? Because our townships will not allow even one of its members not participating in these programs. Why don't you want to participate in these programs? And if you bring trouble, that is why we also need to have boys and girls towns. Remember, there used to be boys and girls towns? Back before there were boys and girls towns, there used to be reformatories. If there is a troubled child, we know where to take them. Some people will say, but that is going to be what? No, we are building a nation. We want the nation to contribute to the success of this country. We cannot leave no child behind because their parents allow them to do as they please. This is where the community forum also comes into place to discipline them. Is it going in? I hope once it goes in, it resides instead of coming out the other side. Ah, gosh, like I said, leadership is taken, it is not made. Because if it's made, it comes with bureaucracy. Bureaucracy takes time before delivery. It's either you are denied or you are granted. And in most cases in South Africa, denied. And then when you're denied, hayi ngiphelelwa amandla. That's how we talk. Hayi ngiphelelwa amandla ngisazi ngenzeni. No, you know what to do. It's because they did not want you to learn more about appeals, alternatives, other organizations that can go and get assistance. They made sure that the legal system is too expensive for you because you will not to be able to afford a lawyer. That is what AfriForum has, a legal department. I think it's run by Gerry Nel. Recently, we saw Jaco Petersen was accused of possibly having touched Ucwecwe. AfriForum jumped. Why? Because Jaco Petersen is a member of AfriForum, and the interests of Jaco Petersen was put first by AfriForum. So can you imagine you are rejected for something that is important to you like ISASA? Because there are a lot of y'all are crying that SASA is taking away our money and giving it to foreign nationals because the foreign nationals stole a South African's ID. Can you imagine if our MPC represented such a South African and went to Home Affairs, dug for the truth, and found that criminal that holds a South African's identity document and taking money on their behalf? Can you imagine corruption disappearing? Because the government workers will be afraid. You know why they'll be afraid? Because the townships of the people of the townships they serve, they got NPCs and they got powerful lawyers. And these lawyers are the kids that grew up in those communities or townships. That is why you need to have an academic department in that MPC that issues bursaries, scholarships, and those that are not, how do I say? I don't want to use the word, like slow learners. We have establishments for them to catch on because we're leaving no man behind. We're leaving no girl behind. Whether we create technical establishments where they learn to build an engine, put it together, or build a helicopter, or whatever the case might be. Speaking of helicopters, every township should have 4 or 5 helipads for the purposes of emergencies. We may have all these clinics in our townships, but some of these clinics may not have the expertise that big hospitals have. So if somebody is struggling with a heart condition and they are left with few minutes, there's always a helicopter that is going to fly them to a hospital with a specialist, free of charge. So that means we have to send kids to learn to be pilots. AfriForum does it. AfriForum does it. What sort of businesses can we have in our townships? I'll repeat this. We can have recycling plants. We can have water purification plants. We can have bakeries. We could have farming. We have studios for content creators because not everybody is going to be interested in water purification or baking. They might want to express themselves artistically. We need to create such platforms for them by having studios for podcasts, studios for television, studios for movies, studios with aesthetic backgrounds for YouTubers. We cater for everybody. Have television stations, radio station, community radio stations. I know there is Soweto TV and other radio stations. But this one is, let's use it like Germany in 1930, when Hitler was propagating to the people of Germany about, okay, now this word as well is a little bit censored by YouTube, so, right? Why they need to be kicked out, why they need to be unalived. You know the history, if those of you who've done the history. And what did Hitler do? Made sure every radio station, workers were propagated. The entire German nation propagated. So that's what we do as well with these radio stations and television, not to propagate misinformation or talk bad of other people. No, it is all to educate the people of that township about the developments. This is where you become transparent, what we have achieved, what we are working on, what we are struggling with, why we need to bring in government here because of X, Y, Z. This is where this political structure I talked about comes and tell the people of Soweto why they shouldn't vote this way but vote that way, and give evidence according to the report that they have compiled while they were busy observing. We could do things like property development. We take 200 million rand, we build apartments, rent them out, build hotels, book them out, build Airbnbs in the coastal areas and inland and everywhere. All that money is coming back to Soweto. We have tourism buses, long distance and domestic. Turn some few sites in our townships into tourism hotspots. Because we have a beautiful country and we've got beautiful townships. Definitely there are things that we can show off to the tourists when they come in there. Guess what they do when they come in there? They spend money. Property development also includes us building our own malls. Not a mall that's coming from Beijing, not a mall that is coming from Dubai, not a mall that is coming from England, but a mall that is built by us, for us, and with us. And then get other people from surrounding areas coming to shop there. Preserve the rand in our townships before we take it out. Guys, all of these things, they don't need rocket science. Yes, we might need knowledge, but knowledge these days is readily available. We are in the fourth industrial revolution. I would repeat, there's AI, there's YouTube, there's TikTok, there's so many things. You don't have to sit down and wreck your head by reading an encyclopedia. Again, I'm revealing my age. Business like transport. Earlier, I talked about delivery scooters. And I'm not saying let's fight the taxi industry, no. Probably that's one we have to leave it alone by not having our own Ubers, because we do not want to get ourselves into trouble with the taxi industry. But when it comes to delivery transport, we are delivering Uber Eats, delivering DoorDash, I mean, I must say DoorDash. Could be that as well. We could do that. We could build an entire train from our township into the cities, like, you know, how train type of situation, and all that money comes into the township's NPC. We can create innovation centers. There are so many kids in the township that are so innovative, but because they don't know what to do. They know nothing about patent or copyright or intellectual property rights. They don't know those things. They show them off on social media and somebody steals that concept and they cannot prove it that it belongs to them. Again, this is where our lawyers, kids that are born in those townships, went to law schools in various universities, and now they're working for the MPC to protect the intellectual property of these innovators. There are a lot of them, but we know them, some of us. So imagine they have their own place to go where they sit and rack their heads every day to try and find a solution for the world. We can have, like I said, township malls and tourism attraction, sports, hospitality. We are not owning all of those things, guys, anywhere in South Africa. Anywhere, we're not owning them. Supermarkets, because malls, you have to probably take a transport to get there. But if there's, you remember corner stores? Remember in the townships, we used to have corner stores. The ones that I'm talking about today, they are white elephants. Yeah, we can bring that back. Corner stores. The profits made there goes to the NPC. We could have fast food eateries. Right now, the fast food eateries, they're not employing South Africans. Case in point, in Durban, IFP came across a whole Nigerian, a manager of Steers. The audacity. Now we can create our own. Let's create our own. Oh, by the way, did I tell you that AfroForum also, yeah, that's what we can do. Oh, no, I'm not done. I'm not done. The political watchdog, I think it's what I wanted to say earlier. Instead of saying a political structure, it's a political watchdog. What it does, it's to observe and then give advice during the elections, which way to go. Right? I'm speaking about building of schools and hire the best teachers, build places of safety. One thing I appreciate about the apartheid government, when I was growing up, kids that lost their parents, there used to be places of safety. In Soweto, if I remember very well, because I lived not too far away from it. I think it was in Orlando, if I remember correctly. It was called Otandweni. I don't know if it's still there. If you're in Soweto, please let me know if Otandweni is still there. That was built by the apartheid government for children that became orphaned because of the violence that was inflicted on black people in Soweto. Many of them lost parents. But there were also many in KwaZulu-Natal as well, where social workers, when a child is in trouble, they really took that seriously. So now we can have the same thing in our townships, where we have places of safety for kids that are abandoned, for children that lose their parents, and they can grow in there until they're 18. But in there, we need to have all the equipment that are going to empower them to become upstanding members of society. They continue with their education. These universities and colleges that we are going to build out of the money that we will be contributing will get these kids education, skill them. That's what we'll be doing. I also speak about, of course, we're working with social development, but social development is not going to tell us what to do. We need to build rehabilitation centers, whether that rehabilitation center is of a kid that fell off and then found themselves taking narcotics, or rehabilitation centers for those that were once able but they had an accident of some sort and now they cannot afford to get what you call the physiotherapy in these conventional hospitals and clinics, but we have our own without the best of the best physiotherapists that we would have taken to school to study exactly that. psychologists, because these days people are struggling with mental health of all sorts, right? Community forums to properly safeguard our townships from foreign invaders, crime, narcotics, misbehavior, school absenteeism, sorry. No child must be roaming the streets during school hours. What are you doing? We hold the parent accountable. This is not what we are building. If a child is going to be absent, report to the community forum why your child is going to be absent. Maybe they're going to see a doctor today, or maybe they are ill today. Whatever the case might be. We also make sure that corruption is not the order of the day in our townships no more. Of course, all of these we are working with the police, clean out police stations with corrupt police that do not respond immediately, and demand for ambulance presence 1 kilometer away from each section of the township. They must not take too long to get to us. The next thing that we also need to look at, the RDP houses, do you think they'll ever get them? No. Government is not interested in building RDP houses for people without homes that they promised back in 1994. So those open spaces, we build an RDP version like, but better. The other thing that we are struggling with in our townships is pollution, littering. The reason why we are struggling with all those things is because we don't have proper bins. Again, I'm going to refer to the apartheid government. The apartheid government, every house had a bin. And the trash car, when it came, or the trash truck came every Tuesday, Wednesday, they took that and then they returned the bin. What happened to all of that? Today, we just go and dump things in front of our houses because there's an open space. It's wrong. But now we need to have a manufacturing plant that will manufacture these bins, and these bins will be put in every household in the township, but also sold to other parts of the country. Suburbs, cities. We can even manufacture an entire, remember back in the day there used to be bins every, I think every 100 steps. In the city of Johannesburg, remember it was littered with bins. Today, where is a bin? That is why the city of Joburg looks the way it does. Durban used to have blue flags at the beach. We lost the blue flags, which actually represents the safety and the cleanliness of the beach. Why? Because back in the day, there used to be bins every 50 steps. You had no excuse of throwing whatever you were eating on the floor. Can you imagine now we are doing business with government, selling them these bins, manufacture and sell them to the government. Profit comes to us in the townships. Build own clinics. I've already mentioned that run 24 hours with doctors committed to them. They must not have any other business, but only committed to these clinics. Right? Have food farms, because some people will be reckless with their money because of lack of financial education. We must not have a house that is hungry. So you need to have these food banks. That's what I meant, so that they can come and ask to have whatever it is that they are short of at home. Right? And I mentioned the building of recreation centers, fully equipped, sporting facilities, fully equipped, swimming pools, training champions, soccer fields, rugby fields, gymnasiums, track, for sprint race and marathons, tennis courts, basketball courts, cricket pitch, all those things that make what South Africa is as champions in the world. We need to have those things in our townships. We really do. I'm repeating again, boys and girls towns, they need to come back. That is why today is no hlongandlebe of children, teenage pregnancy. Do you think back in the day such a thing happened while we had boys and girls towns? No, we didn't. They need to come back. This is one of the things that the ANC threw with the baby and the bath water. We need to have policy developers. These are our kids that went to school, went to university, studied law, studied political science, international relations. You name all these policies that are important to us. These are also the people that we are going to send to parliament that are going to represent us, coming from our townships. When they go there, they know what to do. Not some people who never even seen a classroom representing you in parliament. And I'm not saying there's something wrong with, actually there is, because what exactly are you going to do there? Things there are complex. You need to understand the Financial Act. I think it's PMFA. What is it called again? Yeah, that policy. You need to understand the Constitution. But how are you going to do that if you have not seen the classroom? Or maybe you did, but you don't know what, I think it's called PMF. Please put it in the comment section. My brain is freezing. Right? We need to have manufacturing plants, guys. I know some people are like, well, all of that requires money. Yes, that's exactly the whole point of this video. We are adopting AfriForum concept of membership, and the members of a township contribute X amount of money to ensure that we do build this manufacturing plant. Does South Africa have its own car? Why are we always buying and manufacturing other countries' cars in our country? When are we going to have a South African car? When are we going to have a South African cell phone? When are we going to have a South African laptop? When are we going to have a South African gadget built here? Number one, conceptualized in South Africa, manufactured in South Africa. When are we going to do that? Don't you think that money is going to help in developing such things? We got people who did mechanical engineering, metallic engineering, civil engineering, all kinds of engineering. They've done it. But where are they today? Sitting at home because there's some foreign guy who's apparently more specialized. Guys, we need to have manufacturing companies that manufacture toilet papers, pads, diapers. But no, we are buying from AfriForum. Furniture manufacturing firms or factories, car manufacturing plants, or what do you call this, factories. Does South Africa build its own airplane? Do we have an airplane manufacturing factory? No. We could be. We could be. We got spaces, guys, in our townships. What about import-exports? Townships in the coastal area. Ship development or ship manufacturing. You have the ocean. That should inspire you to build your own ships and put them in the ocean and get hired by international companies to transport things. Do we have all that? No, we don't. But from the money you're contributing into the MPC could actually build a ship manufacturing plant. I don't know what they are called. We can build our own towns and cities. We can do that. To me, that is what you call taking leadership, guys. Not waiting like this. Because when you wait like this, they are able to control you. They are able to lie to you. They are able to fearmonger just so they stay in power. AfriForum understands the power of money. That is why they created AfriForum. It's not just about preservation, but it's also mostly about development, developing the Afrikaans community. Donald Trump opened the floodgates. I mean, do you know how many people already, if this was open to all South Africans, would have been gone by now? They are saying, oh no, you misunderstood us, Donald Trump. No, we don't want to be refugees. We don't want to go to America. Why should they? When they control so many things that you can take control of. The day you take control of the things they are in control of, and I'm talking in a legit way, the way that I just said, using their very own concept, they will take on that offer if Donald Trump is still the president of the United States. Because what's the point? We're no longer selling alcohol. We're no longer selling lotion. We're no longer selling this. They have taken all of these things back in the township. And. The only thing that we have is land. Even that as well, because AGOA has taken away from us, we are not making the kind of profits we used to make before. But guess what you'll be doing? All that profit that we're making, you are now making it. Because you woke up and took leadership of your township. This is not an individual thing. And I am not talking to an opportunist here who now is going to say, oh yeah, I'm going to take all of these things that Clancy has said and then they'll benefit. No. This is not for you and your family. This is for the township. So amongst yourselves, you need to have town hall meetings. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention. Build town halls or community halls. Not these tiny little things that you have as a community hall. I'm talking massive amphitheaters that can sit in as many people like the Orlando Stadium or the Calabash can sit, so that everybody can participate. As many people, you send representatives to go listen on your behalf, so that when they come back in these little branches, they are able to tell you what was said. And then when they go there, you also give them umpago of the things that are running that you don't have in the community, so that the MPC is aware. This is where in there you recycle the leadership. It's not the same. It's not the same. And the leadership, they must have one term and one term only, so that we recycle. Because once a person gets comfortable in a position, we've seen this with the ANC. Once they become comfortable, they forget their mandate. They forget the job that they were elected for. Yes, you have to hold elections of new executives. And we need to make sure that nepotism doesn't play a role. We need to make sure no laying on your back for a job. Everybody that is going to be there belong to that community. I'm talking the township. Nobody's coming from outside unless you need a specialized or expedited an expertise of some sort. Then you can outsource that. But everyone else that is involved in the MPC comes from the township. No foreigners. And by foreigner, I mean not a person from Tembisa going into Soweto type of situation. Unless there is a success story one township and the other one is struggling, and then you can send a delegation to that township to assist them to what do you call this, develop. When are we gonna do all this? When are we gonna have these sort of discussions, guys? When, instead of always blaming, oh apartheid, oh legit, it's valid, but at some point you need to stop this and look here and say, wait, what am I doing about it? What am I doing about it? You get disrespected because you got nothing in the midst of so much. You know, South Africans are so blessed to be South Africans. And I think we don't understand that. There are a lot of people that understand that. And that is why some of them, they leave their countries, they come here and they say, I ain't going back. This is my home now. And we huff and we puff to the ANC and they sit on their ears. You know why they don't want to leave? Because they have found their dream. They have found their pot of gold while you're busy walking on top of it and it's right there. Guys, if anything, let's learn from other people. Not so long ago, I think this is illegal. I was cutting my hair. This guy walked in selling sachets of spirits. They had all kinds of, they have Jameson, they had Smirnoff, they had, I don't know, this Clip Drift. And then some of people were buying them in like 4s and 5s for 5 rand. So that means somewhere in Joburg, somebody is manufacturing these alcohols and it's illegal because they are in small sachets. Some people say sachets. Sachets. And I'm sure that person is a foreign national. But what they did, they also have a printer that prints the logo of these famous alcohol brands. Why don't you have your own register? Everything must be done legally, guys. Everything is going to be registered with the government. CPRO, get your tax clearances, your licenses to do business, various businesses that require licenses. We are now going to be planting taverns everywhere. We are now going to get up and develop ourselves and preserve our own interests. Just like the AfriForum is preserving and developing the Afrikaans community. There's nothing wrong with that. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. It's their prerogative. It's their constitutional right. It's there in the Constitution. We might not like it, but it's in the Constitution. If Zulu people want KwaZulu-Natal closed and becomes its own fiefdom, I'm not for secession, not to secede, but to preserve the Zulu culture, customs, values, and traditions. The Constitution allows them. No secessions. Still part, but if you're going to come to KwaZulu-Natal, you're going to do as the Zulus. Learn the language, doesn't matter what your race is. Learn at least. You can speak your language and preserve and do all those rights. But since it's KwaZulu, I'm just saying, guys. I'm just saying. I'm not saying it must be done. I'm just saying what the Afrikaners are doing. Stop go fighting them in their schools. Stop fighting them in their schools. Instead of fighting them, go fight to teach your children your mother tongue. In the township schools where you come from. Man, sometimes we can be infuriating. All of these guys, it's nothing but inferiority. All of it. Because umlungu is right. Into nomlungu phakathi inequality. When is it into nomuntu omnyama phakathi inequality? We are the ones that are doing this to ourselves, guys. Honestly speaking. Honestly speaking. I know I've been speaking probably for over an hour now, but this needed to come out of my chest. Maybe I'll put it into part 1, part 2. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. But other than that, guys, I think maybe I did have a note here. Let me just read what I said, because my brain is a bit fried now. This is what you call taking leadership and not dependent on the government. This is how you protect your country from taken away from you because you owe them a hefty debt. When you are like this, you know, this is how you position yourself to become a superpower in your own way. This is how you deal with classism and exploitation. And this is how you restore your dignity. I will close it right there. If this video was anything of value to you, do me a favor by smashing the like button. Subscribe to the channel, because who knows, I may have more of this kind of talks. I am hoping it sparks some kind of a discussion. And if you noticed, I'm not using university language. I never use university language in any of my videos because I want to be understood. Somebody called me simplistic and I said, bingo. They were trying to offend me, or they thought they were offending me. They're like, oh, you're so simplistic. I said, bingo, because I want to be heard. Not only heard, but also understood. Not only understood, but also to make the person think. It's called food for thought or something like that. Those are my 2 IQs, guys. I'm busy rubbing them together, and this is what they sparked. Share the video far and wide and leave me a comment, and I'll see you next time with a new video. Goodbye.